Violent radicalization is one of those huge, thorny problems we face all over the world. And usually, the story we hear is about security forces responding to threats that have already appeared. But what if a city could build a defense system before the threat even takes root? Well, today we're looking at a city that's doing exactly that, creating a model that's getting a lot of attention. So let's head to Malaga, on Spain's southern coast. Now, this has always been known as a really open, welcoming place, but today it's also on the front line of a completely different kind of battle. This isn't about force, it's about social connection. They're pioneering a strategy that basically turns the entire city into a defense against extremism.
And that really gets to the heart of the problem, right? You can't arrest an ideology. You can't put a belief system behind bars. So how in the world do you fight something as powerful and as slippery as a radical idea? Well, Malaga's answer is, you don't fight it head on. You make the community immune to it.
Now, this is where you see the huge shift in thinking. The traditional way is all about reacting. It's playing catch-up, pursuing threats after someone's already gone down a dark path. Malaga's approach flips that script completely. It's all about prevention, getting to the root causes, things like social exclusion or lack of opportunity, before they can become a breeding ground for hate.
This is what we're calling the Málaga Model. And the best way to think about it is like this. Instead of just fighting off an infection after it's taken hold, the city is building up a kind of social immune system. They're making the community so strong, so connected, so resilient, that the virus of extremism just can't find a host to begin with. So what do they actually mean by prevention? It's not just a buzzword. Their plan defines it very, very clearly. It's not about stopping attacks at the last minute. It's about getting way upstream, acting on the deep-down reasons that might lead a person to that point. It's all about answering the why, not just the who. And listen, this isn't some side project. This philosophy comes straight from the top. The mayor of Malaga says it himself. The key is giving every single person a real stake in the community. It's such a simple but incredibly profound idea. Opportunity is the antidote to extremism. When people feel like they belong, they're just so much less likely to be tempted by ideologies of hate.
So how do they actually pull this off? Well, the whole plan is built on three core pillars. First, you support the individuals who are most vulnerable. Second, you connect the different communities that make the city what it is. And third, you strengthen the citywide systems to make sure everybody is rowing in the same direction. So let's break each of those down. All right, first up, let's look at the micro level. This is all about direct, personal support for individuals and for families who might be at risk. It's really about building a safety net before anyone even starts to fall. And we're not talking about vague ideas here. These are real, tangible actions on the ground. They run resilience workshops. They create personalized plans for families who are struggling. They even have creative workshops that help people channel their pain and suffering into art. It's just a powerful reminder of how a city can give people actual tools for emotional and social strength. Now, a really crucial part of this pillar is recognizing the unique power of women in the community. The plan actively works to empower women to be leaders, to be educators, and to be the ones who can often spot those early warning signs. They're seen as an absolutely fundamental part of this social immune system. The plan is also super targeted. They've done their homework to identify which groups are most susceptible to recruitment. As you can see, young people are the largest group, but the plan also focuses very specifically on unaccompanied minors, young women who might have ties to radicalized men, and anyone facing serious economic hardship. Okay, so that's the individual level, but the model doesn't stop there. Pillar 2 zooms out and focuses on the community as a whole. How do you weave a social fabric that's so strong it just can't be torn apart by division? Well, first you embrace what makes you strong. Get this. Over 150 different nationalities call Malaga home. Now, some might see that as a challenge, but the city sees its incredible diversity as one of its biggest assets, a source of richness, not of risk. And to make that asset work for them, the city actively, engineers connection. So when a conflict pops up between different cultural groups, instead of letting it fester, they bring in trained mediators to find common ground. They get imams, priests, and rabbis in the same room, building real relationships so they can be a unified voice for peace. It's all about proactively building bridges, not just hoping they magically appear. And this isn't just a social project. It's got serious academic weight behind it. The head of the University of Malaga points out that this is all about building citizen resilience. It's a smart, evidence-based strategy to guard the community against both exclusion and violence. Okay, Last, but definitely not least, we have the third pillar. You can have all these great programs for people and communities, but how do you make sure it all actually works together? You need a system, a framework that connects all the dots and ensures the entire city is on the same team. And this table, this really shows you the secret sauce. The strategy cuts across every single part of the city. Why is that so important? Well, think about it. A teacher might notice a struggling student. A social worker might see a family in crisis. A community leader might spot an isolated person. Without this kind of integrated system, those are all just lonely red flags. With it, they become part of a coordinated support network. It makes sure no one falls through the cracks. And this involves some really high-level strategic thinking. Take the communication strategy. In a crisis, fear and misinformation are like gasoline on a fire. By having a calm, unified, fact-based way of talking to the public, the city stops panic and prevents extremists from controlling the story. And notice the bit about research. This isn't some dusty plan sitting on a shelf. It's a living, breathing system that uses data to adapt and get smarter over time. So, when you put these three pillars together, supporting people, connecting the community, and strengthening the systems, what you get is something really powerful. You get a truly resilient city. And in the end, the whole Malaga model really comes down to this one simple truth. The best defense against division isn't a weapon or a wall. It's a community that is just too strong, too interconnected, and too invested in its own people to be broken apart. So, we come right back to where we started. An investment in social programs, in community dialogue, in creating opportunities for everyone, that isn't some soft project. It is a direct investment in the city's security. Community health and public safety are really just two sides of the same coin. You see, what Málaga has built is so much more than just a local plan. It's a potential blueprint. It shows how any city can start to inoculate itself against hate, not by searching for enemies, but by strengthening the very bonds that hold its people together. And that leaves us with one final thought to take away. What are the things in your own community, the people, the places, the programs that build that same kind of strength and connection? Because as Malaga is showing the world, that's where our true security really comes from.